Meanwhile, an incident about rape and murder of an 8-year-old girl was reported from the Allagama area in Dia Talawa.
The police said that the incident took place last night. Crime Watch has further details.
The victim was identified as a grade 3 student. A friend of the victim's father had taken the child away, promising that the 8-year-old will be taken to his residence. The parents of the 8-year-old child had visited the suspect's residence, as the child had not returned home even after nightfall. The child nor the suspect was inside the house at the time of the inspection. The parents of the victim had lodged a complaint with the police thereafter. Following a tip-off received, the body of the child was found inside a hamlet, concealed inside the fertilizer bag.
He said he will join us for dinner. He took the child away. I was not suspicious. He loves the child and plays with her.
The magisterial inquest was carried out today and the body has been placed at the Badulla General Hospital for the post-mortem examination. The suspect is still at large.
A number of incidents reported in the recent past where children were raped and murdered. A 16-year-old girl is molested by a number of individuals at a restaurant in Uthuvankanda, Mavanella. A 15-year-old girl from Kenya is promised foreign employment, brought to Colombo and raped. The deputy principal of a school in Ududumbura is arrested on charges of molesting 2 boys aged between 12 and 15. The body of a 5-year-old girl who was raped and murdered in Kirlapana is discovered in the canal. A 15-year-old girl is murdered at Mahasen Place in Polonnaruwa. A girl from Dia Talawa faced a similar fate today. Exercise extreme caution in matters pertaining to your children.
Now, according to the police, the attack on a member of the Vennapur Pradesh Sabha was the result of a personal dispute. Now, the police say that the suspects in the attack have fled the area.
The Pradeshya Sabha member who was wounded in the incident is currently receiving treatment at the National Hospital in Colombo.
UPFM member of the Vennapur Pradesh Sabha, Rukman Kolomge, was attacked opposite the Boralasta grounds in Vennapur last night. The Pradesh Sabha member was transferred to the National Hospital in Colombo shortly after being hospitalized for further treatment. The director of the National Hospital in Colombo, Dr. Anil Jasingh, noted that the Pradesh Sabha member had a dismembered arm when he was brought to the hospital. He added that the victim of the attack had undergone surgery.
The Janata Vimukta Peramona charges that the army has taken steps to secure statements from the public regarding the recent unrest in Valley area Gampaha.
Convening a media briefing today, the JVP said that the army does not have the ability to initiate such an undertaking.
The respondents themselves are holding investigations. The defendant is holding investigations. There is no problem with the army conducting an internal inquiry. Now, the army has gone beyond this and has informed the people to come to court with regard to this investigation. This cannot be approved of in any way. The real respondents to this have been hidden. They still haven't said who gave the order to shoot. The Army Act does not in any instance grant the army the power to make inquiries from civilians. We have an amazing law in this country. 3 murders have been committed, firearms have been used, and still no one directly involved in this has been arrested and produced before the Gampaha Magistrates Court. Journalists raised questions regarding this at media briefings convened by the UPFA today. In truth, it is an internal inquiry being conducted by the army. The army does not have the right, and it need not do this. They are holding an internal inquiry to hold an inquiry in civil society. Journalists also questioned Minister Dallas Alahapparama on statements made to the effect that a third party was involved in the incident at Rathapasuala. We expect that this will be revealed through the investigation. If it is not the case, then we are humble enough to say that we were mistaken.
Tonight on our segment, Words of Wisdom, we look at the thoughts of one of the greatest personalities of the 20th century, Mother Teresa, on the subject of peace.
If we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. Mother Teresa.
A soldier is facing allegations of shooting at a tusker in the Yala National Park. Now, News First carried a comprehensive report on this story yesterday, and the Department of Wildlife Conservation said it was launching a special investigation into the incident, adding that the animal had not been harmed.
We received this footage today from an individual who has claims to have been at the incident.
How is Mr. Well, on business news tonight, latest data released by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka indicates that credit to the state spiked in June, crowding out loans to the private sector. Now, according to the data, credit to the state stood at 36.7 billion rupees, while credit to the private sector stood at 11.5 billion rupees.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka took measures to loosen its monetary policies in December last year to increase private sector borrowings. However, since December 2012 to June 2013, the state sector had made significant borrowings from banks compared to the private sector. Credit to the state sector in June 2013 spiked to 36.7 billion rupees, up from 5.7 billion in May, while crowding out loans to the private sector stood at 11.5 billion rupees from 18.3 billion a month earlier. The central bank, under such a backdrop during the last 2 months, reduced a bank reserve rate and capped the penal rate of the interest to increase private sector borrowings.
Former UNP General Secretary Sirisena Kures notes that in order to ensure the victory of his party, J.R. Jayawardena displayed the traits of a true leader and selected R. Premadasa as the party's presidential candidate. Former UNP General Secretary Sirisena Kure points out that J.R. Jayawardena did expect to contest presidential elections for a third time as well. Kure pointed out, however, that Jayawardena bowed to the people's wishes and granted the opportunity to R. Premadasa.
J.R. Jayawardena Janadipatituma.
President J.R. Jayawardena was supposed to come forward as the UNP presidential candidate for the third time. He set a standard, but a two-term limit was set. But he felt that he could contest again and he was prepared to do so. But in the end, as a leader, he thought about the party, thought about the party's supporters and the country, and he got to know the wishes of the people. At this point, he had been subjected to public displeasure. Thereby, the best man he could put forward was Premadasa. At that point, he did not think about himself. J.R. Jayawardena did not think of himself. He thought about the party, his party's supporters and his country. He thought about this and thought that even though he disliked Premadasa, he would give him the candidacy. He thought that he would give the candidacy of Premadasa to make the party victorious. That is why to this day I respect J.R. Jayawardena. Not only him, but every leader we had at the time thought about the party and the party supporters. They were not selfish. A leader who contests elections must be one who has won over the people. That is why J.R. Jayawardena selected Premadasa.